Ready, so we can begin with the lecture on magnetism in continuation. This is the second lecture of KISS. First lecture we have discussed about the magnetic field lines. We have discussed about the bar magnet. Of course, we have discussed about the current carrying loop which acts as a magnetic dipole moment also we have discussed. So, this is in continuation only. If I want to find the magnetic field due to a magnetic dipole, it means I want to find because of the bar magnet. Bar magnet here is behaving like a magnetic dipole, like we did. Electric dipole is consists of two equal and opposite charges separated by a small distance. Similarly, this bar magnet, two poles are there, north pole, south pole are there, separated by a small distance. That distance we are taking it as twice of L. So if I take the distance from the central point, then the distance is L only. Clear? And these are the M are small, the pole strength. If you want to write it as pole strength, also we can write. Here we are writing it as the pole strength. And if at this point P I am taking some north pole, supposingly I consider like a point charge. This is for consideration only. Of course, we cannot have the monopoles. Then what will be the direction of the field? Because of this first point, it will be towards right, away, because magnetic field lines always start from north and end to the south. You are aware of this thing. So you can find the direction of B1 and B2 by having that knowledge. And your previous knowledge when we did the electric field due to an electric dipole at any given point on the axial line. This is the line which is passing from the poles, is the axis, magnetic axis we call. This line is the axial line with us, OX. So you can write the value of the B1 or B2 by that knowledge of the Coulomb's law, though we are aware that magnetic, we have to find the resultant magnetic field at P point due to this bar magnet which acts as a magnetic dipole, and negative sign because it is in the opposite direction. B1 is along the positive direction, B2 is along the negative direction. That is why we are taking B1 minus B2. Otherwise, net field is always by adding the magnetic fields vector sum. But because directions we have seen they are opposite, so we can simply subtract their magnitudes. Magnitudes, as you have done in the electric field also, E equals to yours F upon Q. So from that only KQ upon R square, and R distance you can find, distance from the north pole of this point P will be equals to R minus L. For south pole the distance will be R plus L. If R is the distance of the P point from the center of this magnet, then we can find the distance from these two poles and we can do the calculation. So result you can directly keep in your mind by using the electric dipole concept with you. So if I am taking the point on the axial line, now if this distance I have taken on the x-axis as x, on the y-axis as y, for the equatorial line if I want to take distance I am taking y, on the axial line I am taking it x. And this result is similar to your electric field results, that is K2P. There you write 2P divided by R square minus L square whole square. So here it will be, in place of R we are writing it on the x-axis x. So it will be x square minus L square, and constant K is replaced by mu naught upon 4 pi. So they, according to now the changed CBSE syllabus, you are supposed to keep these formulas in your mind for using it in the numericals, because magnetic dipole is there in your syllabus and solenoid is also in your syllabus. So all the concepts has to be there, but that derivation has been skipped. So if we take that the bar magnet is a short magnet we are taking, it means L is smaller than the X, then in this derivation we can ignore the value of L in comparison to X, and we get this formula which is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi into 2m upon x cube, where x is the distance from the center of the bar magnet to this point P. So from this slide you should be able to note down the things properly, because they can be asked in your exams. So this is the formula left with me for the magnetic field if the point P is here on the axial line, or simply you can write B axial. And if you go with its direction, then we have already seen that B1, because of north pole, is greater than B2. So the direction will be same as that of the dipole moment. Magnetic dipole moment we have already discussed. It acts from south to north direction. So this is the direction of the magnetic dipole along the positive x-axis. So same is the direction of the net magnetic field at P point when I am taking the point P on the axial line. So this point you can find that the direction is same as that of the dipole moment. So this result is similar to your electric field, but there we write K 2P upon R cube. So whatever way we can express the things, if I want to write R cube, that is also equally correct. Capital M here is the dipole moment, magnetic dipole moment, equatorial line. It means Q point I have taken. Then similar to the derivation of electric field, you can find Bn, Bs. You can find the resultant vector which is coming in a direction opposite to the magnetic dipole moment. Magnetic dipole moment is acting from south to north, but this magnetic field is coming in opposite direction. It means N to S. So I can put either the negative sign here, or simply I am writing the magnitude here. And on the equatorial line, when we take the point, then this result is coming out with me is mu m upon 4 pi y cube. Or simply you can write R cube, that is also correct. So whatever naming you are giving for this distance, if you are giving the distance, taking the distance as R, you can write here R cube. Here I have given it as Y, so I am writing it Y cube. This is for the short bar magnet. It means L should be less than Y. Otherwise, if you go with the derivation, simple mathematics, then you will be getting this result, that is mu naught m divided by 4 pi into y square plus L square 3 pi. It means whatever derivations we have done in the electric field chapter for the electrostatics, those derivations if are clear in your mind, then these results you can write directly. So no need of derivation. Moving next, if I want to draw the magnetic field lines due to bar magnet, then of course the lines are starting from N pole, now north pole, and ending towards the south. This also we were used to do as a project to draw the magnetic field lines. For that you can always use the magnetic compass as magnetic needle. So magnetic needle can be used, and you can see that at the poles the lines strength is more, and that can be seen by more magnetic field lines. At the poles it means the strength of the magnet is more, and in the center it is weaker, but they are forming the closed loop. They are forming the closed loop. It means lines are passing through inside the magnet also. That you need to take care. And of course, you are aware of that north pole, it is attracting the south pole. It means unlike poles they attract, but like poles they repel. So this all magnetic field lines, drawing of the magnetic field lines for a bar magnet, you should be able to do. This is the current carrying solenoid that acts as a magnetic dipole. It means if I make the current to pass through a solenoid, then it behaves like a bar magnet. So like we discussed that I am having a current carrying loop, then if it is anti-clockwise, it behaves like north pole. From the side, if you look, the current is passing clockwise, then it behaves like the south pole. So same concept is there, and we have already discussed in detail about the solenoid. But this is of course we are making the electric current to pass, so more electric current if we pass, then of course we will be having a stronger field, magnetic field. Polarity we can change by changing the terminals of the battery, I can say. Then polarity will get changed. Simply by reversing the current, by changing the direction of the current. Of course, once we switch off the current, then it will not behave like a magnetic dipole, of course. So as soon as the current is flowing, then only it behaves like a magnet. And the strength will depend upon the quantity of current and number of turns of on the solenoid. How many number of turns you are taking, what the core you are taking inside. That is, if soft iron we generally do with, and if there is no core, then of course the field produced will be different. So you need to take care solenoid in more detail. We have discussed in magnetic effects of current also, but now they are asking you to compare it with the bar magnet. That is important. For that, if you want, you can see that if I take any point P on the axial line of the solenoid, and I try to find the magnetic field at P point due to this solenoid. Solenoid means I am having number of turns of the coil on core, which can be soft iron core, and I am making the electric current to pass. So this is a simple derivation which is given in your NCERT books also, and this is very much in your syllabus. So you need to know this thing, because this we are doing without taking the concept of magnetic monopoles. It means we are not talking about the magnetic monopoles, but we are talking about the poles. They cannot be separated. Even you can see Gauss theorem in magnetism is there, that is that if you take the surface integral B dot dl, that is equals to 0. But if monopoles are existing, because here the magnetic field lines entering, they are equals to the magnetic field lines leaving. That also we will discuss in detail in the coming lectures. But the things you have, maybe by now you have understood that from electrostatics till now all the things are very much linked. So you should be able to understand that link to keep a better understanding of the things for your final exams. We are assuming here A is the radius of the solenoid and R is the distance from the center of the solenoid of this point P point, where I want to find the magnetic field. Of course, we are taking 2L as the length of the solenoid. So from the center to the one end, if I am taking the length, that is simply small l. Now what we are doing is, I am assuming a small element at a distance x from the center of this solenoid, the line which is passing from the center O. From that point, I am taking at a distance x, I am taking a small element dx. This dx small element has been taken, and if I say that number of turns in this element, total number of turns, if they are n, then number of turns in this small element will be equals to n into dx for this length. Dx is the length of the small element. If I take I as the current passing, then if you want to find the magnetic field because of this small element, it means if I am cutting this, that will simply behave like a ring. So if I am taking a small part from the this solenoid, that will act as a ring. It means due to this ring, I want to find the magnetic field at this point, P point. At this point, P point, I want to find because of this small ring which is having thickness dx, and I want to find the magnetic field at this point, P. And then to find the total magnetic field because of the solenoid, I will be integrating from the limit minus L to plus L. Then I can find the magnetic field. That is the only concept, and you are aware of, because of the ring or because of the coil, we have already derived the magnetic field in the previous chapter of magnetic effects of current. Then dB can be written as mu naught n. N means here number of turns are n dx. Mu naught n Ia square divided by 2. There we wrote r square plus x square. So r was the distance. Now here the distance of this small element is r minus x. So r minus x square, and radius is a. So this formula I can write simply this way in terms of the given suppositions. I can write it as twice of r square, r minus x whole square plus a square, and the power of the whole term is 3 by 2. This is the small magnetic field because of the ring or a current carrying coil, which we know the result and we are using it directly. And if I wish to take for the whole solenoid the magnetic field, I am integrating within the limit minus L to L. And all these terms mu naught n I a square and 2 are constant can be written out. Even this value can also be written out, r minus x whole square plus a square. Now this r minus x whole square plus a square can be nearly considered, because if I take the radius of the solenoid is small, a can be ignored in comparison to r. X, you can see it is very small distance in comparison to r. So this whole can be written as r square power 3 by 2 means r cube. So this r cube also I can take out, and I am left with integral of dx from minus L to L. And when you take the integral of dx, that is x, and when you put upper limit minus lower limit, you get twice of L. So this I can write twice of L, and rest of the term will remain same. And you know that if I want to write the magnetic dipole moment for this solenoid, that can be written as the number of turns into the total length 2L into, this is capital N, N into 2L, into IA. A is pi r square, and here radius is taken as small a, so I can write it as pi a square. So this is the value of the magnetic dipole moment. Now if here in the numerator there is no pi, so it means I will multiply and divide by pi on numerator and in denominator. Then I can replace this value as m. 2 mu naught can be taken out, and rest of the value can be written as m divided by this 4 pi into r. So this you have to take, because as the result which we have derived for the bar magnet, same result I am getting because of the solenoid. So even if I go directly with the solenoid, I am getting the same result which I will be getting if I am considering that in my mind for the bar magnet. So that is why we can say that the solenoid, it is behaving like a bar magnet. The magnetic field which is produced by the solenoid is coming out to be same as that of a bar magnet. So this you can keep it in your mind. Moving ahead, if you want to draw the magnetic field lines because of the current carrying solenoid or because of the bar magnet, you can see that the magnetic field lines, they come in the same way, and magnetic field on the axial line is also coming out to be same. So this is just to keep in your mind. So even if they ask bar magnet or they ask current carrying solenoid, both are producing similar patterns of the magnetic field, and the strength of the magnetic field also at a given point is coming out to be same. This you need to know. So this formula is very, of course, if you want, you can do the comparison, the points of similarities, points of differences between the current carrying solenoid and bar magnet should be clear in your mind. Bar magnet we are making of course artificially alnico, as we have discussed, aluminum, nickel, cobalt. It is an alloy, but it is producing comparatively weak force as compared to the solenoid. Of course, though bar magnet is a permanent magnet. You should be noting it down that bar magnet is a permanent magnet, while solenoid, current carrying solenoid, is a temporary magnet, because as soon as you stop passing the current, it stops behaving like a magnet. But both are producing similar fields. Not same, similar I am saying. So you have to do the comparison. Polarity can be reversed. Here polarity, of course, you cannot reverse. Bar magnets cannot be easily demagnetized, while the solenoid can be demagnetized simply by switching off the current. So as soon as the current is there, then only it will behave like a magnet. And of course, the strength of the bar magnet depends upon the nature of the material which you are using in its creation. Here also you can change the strength by changing the quantity of current passing or changing the core of the solenoid. You can always change the strength. So that should be clear. So what points can be taken under the similarities, what points can be taken under the differences. Of course, again, as done electric dipole kept in the uniform electric field. Similarly, if I keep the magnetic dipole in the uniform magnetic field, forces which are acting can be written in terms of pole strength mb, and then you can find the torque, that is either force into perpendicular distance. But of course, mb if I am taking as the either force, 2l is the distance, theta if it is inclination angle, then perpendicular this and to this point will be equals to 12 sine theta. And you can find the value of torque. Of course, net force acting will be 0, but torque will be there, and because of that torque you can see the movement will be there, and this always acts in a perpendicular, again using right hand rule. But this is similar to field, so if in some numerical they are using, you should be aware of this formula for the torque, which is given by m cross b. And if they are asking you to find the work done on the magnetic dipole, in place of bar magnet they can keep always the current carrying solenoid, because current carrying solenoid works as a bar magnet. So these results can be used in numericals. You should be aware of work done. It is given by torque into d theta. Torque we have calculated is mb sine theta d theta. So you can calculate by applying the limits from theta 1 to theta 2, and the potential energy that will be given by minus mg cos theta. Similar to your electric field concepts, it is there. You can find the stable and unstable equilibrium also. For stable equilibrium, potential energy should be minimum. So minus mb, so cos theta should be equals to 1. It means theta should be equals to 90 degree. And for unstable, this should be positive. So theta should be taken in terms of 0 or 180. You can take the values of theta, different values 0, 90, 180, and you can find at what position it will be in stable equilibrium, at what position it will be in unstable equilibrium. Cos 90 will be 0, so potential energy will be 0. For minus mb, it will be theta will be 0, so it will be equals to minus mb negative minimum potential energy for stable equilibrium. So all those concepts you should be keeping it in your mind, because you can with the numericals. This is simple numerical I have taken on the basis of the magnetic moment. I'm reading it for you. An electron in an atom revolves around the nucleus in an orbit of radius 0.53 angstrom. 1 angstrom is 10 to the minus 10 meters. So you will be converting this radius into meter of this. Calculate the equivalent magnetic moment if the frequency of revolution of the electron is 6.8 into 10 raised to the power 9 megahertz. Now this megahertz also you need to convert into hertz. For doing the calculations, always you take care of the units. So you have to multiply it with 10 to the power 6. Current, if I want to find, that is charge upon time, and now here electron is revolving, so electronic charge divided by time can be written as electronic charge into frequency, because 1 upon time period is frequency. Frequency is given in the question, so you can find the current, and you know magnetic moment, if I am having single turn, then n will be 1, so magnetic moment will be given by I into A, and area is pi r square. R is given in the question, so you can put the values, and you can get the answer with you for the magnetic dipole moment, which is of course in ampere meter square. So the only thing is you should be knowing the formula for the magnetic dipole moment for a current carrying coil. because here atom will be behaving like that only, and you can find the magnetic moment. Next question with you is, I'm reading the question for you, beta. A closely wound solenoid of 200 turns and area of cross section is 1.6 into 10⁻⁻⁴ meters square. Number of turns are given, capital N is given in the question 2000. Always try to write the things along with whatever is given in the numerical, so that the question is clear in your mind in the first read only. Area of cross section is given 1.6 into 10⁻⁻⁴ meters square, that is area of cross section. A is given. Current is given 4 ampere, it's given, you can write. Is suspended through its center, allowing it to turn in a horizontal plane. That you need to learn, that they are making the solenoid to suspend in the horizontal plane, they are saying. What is the magnetic moment associated with the solenoid? So for the magnetic moment associated with solenoid, if number of turns are given, capital N, you can simply write the formula, that is equals to NIA. N is given, I is given, A is given. So all three things are given to you. You can put the values and simply work it out. We are getting the answer 1.28 ampere meter square. So of course you should be knowing the units. You take care that area of cross section is given in meter square only. If they are giving you in some other units, you need to convert the units. Similarly for current also, it should be in amperes only. That you need to take care, and by chance here the things are given as per the SI unit, so you need not convert, you can directly multiply and can get the magnetic moment. First part is done. Go to the second part now. What are the forces and torque on the solenoid if uniform horizontal magnetic field of 7.5 into 10 raised to the power -2 Tesla is set up? Now they are making a horizontal magnetic field of this much value. So magnetic field, you can write, it is given in Tesla only in SI unit. And angle theta is also given 30 degree with the axis of the solenoid. So you will write these both the things which are given in the question, and they are asking the force and torque. So it means you should be knowing the formulas for the force and torque, as we have discussed, that when I keep a bar magnet in the magnetic field, net force is 0. So same will be the result for the solenoid, current carrying solenoid with me. So it means net force will be equals to 0, and torque, the formula you know, M cross B, or you can write MB sin theta. M is magnetic dipole moment, which we have just calculated. By putting the value of Ni and A, we have calculated the magnetic moment, or simply magnetic dipole moment or magnetic moment, whatever you may say, the meaning is same here. B is given in the question, theta is also given in the question, but the thing is you should know this formula. This formula should be known to you, and it means you should be knowing the results for the bar magnet, because your solenoid is acting as a bar magnet. So that should be clearly there in your mind, so that you are able to use these formulas directly. That should be done. And of course, if you put the values, you are getting the result for the torque. Similarly, this question can be extended. They can ask you the stable and unstable equilibrium, where under what conditions it will be in the stable equilibrium, under what condition it will be in unstable equilibrium. It means whatever we have done for the electric field, same things you have to do it for the magnetic field, though the derivations for the torque for the magnetic field on the axial and equatorial line directly will not be asked, but of course can be asked in the form of questions, because comparative study of the solenoid is there very much in your syllabus. So you need to keep this thing in your mind and keep trying more numericals, of course, from your NCERT and other books. That is very important. Keep things up. Thank you, everyone.